Hi, my name is Brenda Madrigal and welcome to my video. This is my video kind of slash letter towards you guys and talk about a little bit about me. Let me start with my name. My name is Brenda. I am a graphic designer located in Portland, Oregon, and I am a first generation Mexican American that is born in the United States, and I have a very interesting worldly point of view. I am bicultural, so meaning I get to experience both being Mexican and American. I get to experience both of those heritages, yeah. Um really well, and I got to basically also participate in a society that had access to the internet and the internet age. I'm a millennial. I process everything through the internet. I think it's funny to me just to think about how I was able to process information and be part of the digital age and conversation through a computer. So let me get started with that. I'm a graphic designer because I ended up liking design and problem solving at a very young age. I ended up first being obsessed with design and kind of being creative at the age of 5 when I was first introduced to a computer through my I think my first grade class or my kindergarten class. I can't remember. It was 1999, 2000. But we were given the computers of the G3 series, and I was obsessed with using the computer. And we had access to the computer and using KidPix on it. And because I was so intrigued by doing artwork on a computer, that kind of led me into middle school to kind of be obsessed over learning about Keynote and iMovie. And I was so like intrigued of like how we were using these as tools as like storytelling and talking about problems in the world, that I ended up signing up for a class. um once you're leaving middle school to high school, I signed up for a class for about computers, and it was a graphic design class, and I was a freshman. Those classes were only offered for juniors and seniors, but my first day in high school, I was in that class as a graphic designer. And it was an interesting thing to be told that that was only a senior and junior level class. It was only for like the senior projects, the senior presentation, whatever. But I was a freshman. I was 14 years old, and I was like, I'm going to participate and be in here because I think computers are cool. So I stayed and I did the same spiel. I participated and I engaged in the conversations, the thought process, the development of understanding what the project brief was at 14 years old, and that I problem solved, did the presentations and projects that I actually won at 14 years old. I was given the best in show and a best EA presentation about my projects. And that at 14 years old, my my high school teacher told me, like, you are really good at this. Maybe you should participate and engage in this conversation later. And kind of continue this and see if you like it. And so I ended up doing that through high school, and I enjoyed it. Actually, I enjoyed all 3 years of graphic design in high school. Can you try to figure out what you like in junior year? But it ended up, I realized that I like graphic design so much that this kind of led me to the conversation with my high school teacher to tell me you should go and study graphic design in college. So I went to community college first in 2012 to 2014, and then from there on, then I went to Portland State University, and I graduated in 2018 with my bachelor's in graphic design. So that's a little bit of like, I think, a brief of like kind of like my traditional storytelling of like how I got to graphic design. But one of the key things about me and why I liked learning about graphic design and the whole programs of the graphic design world was because of the fact of the way we use tools. Um, I am a millennial, and I got to basically process information through the digital age. I am the generation that use MySpace and use HTML to kind of like code a website, code your really cool background or whatever you want to call it. I was really intrigued by how we were given these tools of like computer and internet, and I was at the beginning stage of what YouTube was, and I was able to kind of find a way to express myself through these, I think, digital tools. And I found myself like I get to be part of the conversation and whatever it looked like. So one of the key things for me was how I was approached to the idea of design and marketing. I think about this all the time. I think about why I love Legally Blonde, and I love the way Elle Woods was able to express herself and who she is as a person, was because of the fact that in the middle of the film, you see when she makes the transformation to be taken serious and to be, but still herself, was when she bought her what was it, her iBook, her G3 iBook in orange. And I'm putting a photo right here, but this is the iconic scene where she's purchasing the laptop, and then she's participating in the classroom with a bunch of law students who are supposed to be firm, uptight and professional, and she's buying a G3 iBook, and that it's kind of showcasing how she's able to express herself even in the most minimal way through a laptop. And I think about how Apple has been able to be kind of part of that conversation and marketing tool towards us, was the fact that, oh, Elle Woods is the new generation going to law school and, being herself and being able to express herself, even if it has to do through an Apple product. I think about how that campaign about think different, be different, about the G3, the colors, and how that was used as a way to kind of express yourself. And I think about that all the time when I even create work. I think about how this is storytelling. This is obviously going to try to hit an audience, try to hit somebody, and try to connect to somebody in some way, in some form or fashion. And I think about that when I purchased my first iPod. I bought an iPod in 2007. It was the iPod was a solution to kind of like listen to your playlist, and it's a way to express your music and your music taste. And as a bicultural and bilingual person, that is a key thing for my adolescent years. Music is everything, and I am so blessed to say that I had an access to an iPod. And so I found it really intriguing of this tool. This iPod was a tool for me to find my self-expression. When I got my first iPod, I got an iPod Nano again in 2009. I got a purple one. It was like another form of expression in color. I'm expressing who I am and my identity and who I wanted to be. And I think about the tools, how they use this tool to market towards millennials. Like, this is your way to express yourself in your music taste and color and however you want to be and who you want to be in society. But people don't think about that. People just think about buying the iPod as a solution, a quick solution to just put your music in. I don't think about things like that. I think about design as a tool, about tools in life and tools in society and how we use these tools. I think about how even an iPhone was a big change in society and change in how we access information and knowledge. I remember when I had my first flip phone back in 2007. I loved it. I loved my flip phone, but I saw what Apple was doing with giving a smartphone as a tool of accessing the internet and information really quick. And then eventually I was in college throughout the 2010s that I witnessed how apps were becoming the new tool of, storytelling and problem solving for people in society. And I was really intrigued by that because of the way people were actually using their iPhones as a tool now to be able to not only purchase things, not only check your bank statements, but also still a tool for your music and problem solving, looking through and watching a cool YouTube clip. But it was now being used as a tool to get on a bus and as a bus pass. I think about the decisions that were being made in the marketing team, in the technology department. I think about all these things of how products are ultimately created and used in society, because ultimately as technology advances, we're supposed to be using our tools as an advancement of society. So that's kind of what I understand what we use computer and digital tools as problem solving tools. And that's kind of how I got into design. When I studied design, I was thinking about how I was going to be able to make this easy stuff to be easily accessible and equitable towards people. That was a big key thing for me to kind of go into design. Design is a tool to give access to information and knowledge and information. I was in college while an iPhone was being developed better, and the thought process of how an application was being used and even the navigation tools. Think about design in the most simplest way. A navigation tool, like you're on a website, it has to be simplified and easy accessible towards everybody. I think about all of these things as a creative person and as a designer, that I ended up finding myself out that I like design. I like how we think about what color, why does that color make me feel happy? Why do I have a yellow case on my iPhone? Because I like yellow. Yellow's an expression of me and I like feeling happy. And I think about all of these things as a designer, like we think about how things are designed in society and we're able to have access to information, and I want to be part of that conversation, and how we're going to be using marketing tools, and how we're going to use an iPhone, a laptop, a storytelling part of a tool. I love participating in the conversation of like why branding, and what is the whole point of like a brand in the from the beginning to end. Like we're building out a product, and how are we using this product for all its versatilities. I think about the iPhone at the very beginning. It was just, oh, social media, it's a touch screen phone. It's a little bit more than that now. And I think about how design and thoughtful thought process was given to that. And I think about the branding and the marketing strategy that was given towards it. And I think that's one of the things I think I wish for myself and wanted to be able to develop for myself when I want to go into working at any places, that I'm going to be used as a very resourceful tool. I would be given the opportunity to develop my knowledge and my information, and like there's so much to be given as a creative person, that we are problem solving for, I think, the betterment of humans as a society as a whole. Like there's so much more to be given. So I think about all of this all the time as a creative person, and that's just who I am. I like design because design is just problem solving and doing more than what meets the eye, because a lot of people don't think about that. I think about that all the time. I think about how I could be problem solving this design and this design, even though I have understood what the issue is and I want to do it, and I think about like I gave a solution, but I could have done it better, and how I could have done this better, and how doing a whole branding a branding project could be done differently. But yeah, that's I think a little bit about me. I'm hoping I'm answering the questions correctly. But yeah, that's just who I am. I'm a person who's very thoughtful to my thought process, to the design process, to the the creative tools that I use. I've always used all the Adobe tools. I'm learning Figma right now, but I think one of the biggest things as a designer and as a creative person is that we have a little bit of a responsibility to make sure everybody can access information and knowledge, and everything is designed simply for people, not only a person like me who's bilingual and bicultural, and I can access things in Spanish and English, but also people with disabilities. That's another thing that a lot of people don't think about. People do not think about the deaf community. People don't think about how maybe things are easily processed and knowledgeable for people.